If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life. Let's get into it.
Well, my friends, can we redeem an old Carlos acoustic guitar? Let's find out. Well guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to begin to assess an old Carlos guitar that I picked up for one of my bonus daughters. Yeah, those of you who hang out with me on the channel know that my wife and I have several bonus kiddos. One of them is DJ. You may remember DJ as she was one of the artist collaborators on the Frankie guitar. If you missed that playlist, man, you want to check that journey out. One of the most stubborn guitar bodies we've worked with on the channel, Jack. Yeah, man, it was a great ride. You may remember that I recently picked up old Red. Yeah, man, that Telecaster that we've restored, the one that was red and had kind of those little paisley kind of design on it. Yeah, that came out really well, guys. Well, my friends, when I went to pick that guitar up, the seller had a whole row of guitars in his living room. And this was one of them. So when I picked up old Red for the modest sum of $50, I said, hey man, how much you want for that old Carlos acoustic guitar? And he said $25. And I said, man, I think I can do that. So I picked old Carlos up for $25. Now, Ted, why did you buy Carlos for $25? Well, my friends, DJ had a guitar, an acoustic guitar. It was stolen. And I've just been wanting to get her a guitar ever since. Well, you know, guys, I could have gone out and purchased a guitar for her for $150 somewhere on the Zon or wherever, gotten a name brand, you know, dropped a little bit of cash, and she'd be worth every penny of that, let me tell you. Well, my friends, the more I thought about it, I thought, you know, what says love more than a DIY project, man? Yeah, man, so I started thinking about maybe I could just get her a guitar on the marketplace that I could fix up, work on myself, handcraft it just for her. This, my friends, is that guitar. What is this guitar? Well, I don't know much about it. I just know that the headstock says Carlos, and I know that inside the guitar body it says Carlos, model number 210, quality product of Korea. So I'm assuming that old Carlos was made in Korea. There's not a whole lot to talk about on the guitar. It's got no strings on it, although I'm playing a little air guitar. Whoa, look at that sweet riff coming in. Woo, baby. Guys, I don't even know if the truss rod works. So it does have tuners, some semblance of tuners on the headstock. They are not even, they have a K on them. I don't know if that's a Kluson tuner or not. It says high quality with a K. Let me see if I can get you in here real close. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that or not. They are not exactly what you call copacetically level, my friends. So the tuners are kind of in there cockeyed and whatnot, and a couple of them are tight. The D string is pretty loosey-goosey, pretty shaky, man. So the tuner's got to go, absolutely positively. So we'll be looking at a tuner alternative. The nut on the guitar is pretty filthy dirty. It is straight up plastic, and that may be okay. Guys, I'm not one that just looks at a part and says that ain't no good. I will put strings on the guitar. I will see if I can work with that nut before I replace it. And if need be, we could certainly replace the nut. It does have a very interesting truss rod cover. It says adjustable neck with 3 screws. Does the truss rod work on this guitar? I don't know. The interesting thing about the guitar, the most interesting thing, Yard, is how thin this is, the first fret. I will get a tool on that and get a scientific measurement, but for right now, I'm going to go with that's a really thin acoustic guitar neck, man. Maybe one of the thinnest acoustic guitar necks I have seen. It does have quite a bit of bow in it right now. By way of frets, these frets have some string wear on them, and they are pretty grody. The fingerboard is about the same. Lots of funk. The binding on the fingerboard appears to be okay, about what you might expect on an old acoustic guitar. I'm assuming it's old, guys. I have no idea. I've never heard of Carlos guitars before. If you've heard of them, put it in the comments. Would love to hear any intel that you might have. That may or may not be a rosewood fingerboard. You know, I've never had well, I don't know if that's true or not. I've had a lot of budget guitars, some of them made in Japan, mostly made in Indonesia. I think I have had a couple of guitars that were made in Korea through my 40 years of playing guitar, but I don't remember any of them enough to give you a specific brand name and specific details about those. It doesn't really have any sharp fret edges, so we don't have anything really to worry about there. The frets are really kind of worn. I'll have to put some tools and get some measurements on these. I don't know if we have any high frets or not. If we have high frets, we can certainly level them. And then if we level frets, we will crown them. And if we crown them, we will polish them. And we will clean and condition the fingerboard, and life will be good. It's got a pretty cool looking binding that goes all the way around it. It has kind of that used, kind of yellowish, smoky Joe's Cafe kind of binding on it. I don't see any real, on this side of it, I don't really see any major cracking or anything that causes me any heartburn. On the underside, yeah, there's one spot right here. It looks like a crack of some kind. I could put some CA glue in there, see if I can redeem that. There's a little bit of bumpiness right here. Guys, look, we're going to go under the hood in a moment, and I'm going to get you close-ups of all this. I'm just giving you an overview. The strap buttons, neither one of the strap buttons are taut, nor are they usable, so those will both be coming off. The back of the guitar looks like a used guitar. Lots of scratches, lots of dings, lots of kind of dent kind of things. And I just call that character jack. Yeah, man. It's got a pretty nice design here. The front of it, guys, there's just so much funk and grime on this thing. It's hard to tell how she's going to clean up. It does have a black pick guard on it, and it does have just your standard kind of bridge, and it also has your typical acoustic bulge right here behind the bridge on an old acoustic guitar. On old acoustic guitars, a lot of time you'll get a little bit of a warping right here, or a bump, a bulge right behind the bridge. It doesn't have a saddle nut in it. It doesn't have any string pegs at all. It does have two screws on either side of where the nut would be, which leads me to believe that it had a nut in at one point in time that you screwed into the guitar. I don't think in any way that's a pickup, because there's no kind of output jack to get to that at all. So guys, I tell you what we're going to do, man. We're going to go under the hood. We're going to put a microphone? Nope. We're going to put a microscope on this bad boy. The first thing we're going to do is see if that truss rod works. If that truss rod works, we're off to the races, my friends. If that truss rod works, we will be some tuners, a nut, and some string pegs, some fret work, and a solid cleaning, and a good setup away from having a playable guitar, and we will need to get some new strap buttons. Well, guys, it ought to be quite the journey. If you fancy that kind of journey, why don't you run on out to the kitchen and grab yourself a Diet Coke and some popcorn, Jack. Meet me back at the workbench, baby. Let's go under the hood of the Carlos Acoustic Guitar. And hey, don't tell the DJ. Shh, it's a secret. Let's get into it. Well, my friends, you are looking at the headstock of Carlos in the fast forward action. I did deinstall every screw that was imaginable on this guitar. A couple of things are noteworthy and some really bad news. I'll start with what I found out about the easy things first. So this is the strap button that was on the bottom of the guitar. I don't know how that's supposed to accommodate a strap, but that may be the oldest strap button. That may be an antique, man. Maybe I'll go on that antique show. Maybe that's worth 50 grand. I don't know. Probably not in this shop. This is the other strap button. It's what was left of it anyway. So we'll be, well, we may or may not be replacing anything. I'll tell you why in a minute. We did have our truss rod cover to go over the truss rod. These are the tuners I was trying to tell you about. They say high quality with a K. I don't know if that's Cluson or not. A couple of them seem to be really good. They're taut. There's not a lot of play in them. One of them, yeah, these are good. These, well, that's got a little bit of play in it. So I've got a few of them that are good, and then I've got this one, which of course is Benton loosey goosey. It's the only diamond one. Unfortunately, the way that they were screwed into the headstock, they were in here kind of crooked, kind of something like that, and it was very difficult to get them out. So I'm not going to push them back in there, but they were all angled like that to hit that diamond hole. So anyway, should we replace the tuners? And why does he say should? Well, because we may not be doing anything with this guitar. I'll tell you why. Guys, this truss rod doesn't work. What I mean by it is that it is pretty stripped in there. This is a 316 truss rod tool, and it will catch just a little bit, but that truss rod does not turn, guys. It just does not turn. So I don't know if the truss rod is broken. I don't know if the head is just stripped. I don't know. So from here, I'm going to be watching some YouTube videos. I've got an email out to a couple of folks who are much better at this kind of stuff than I am, and we'll see what happens. Other than that, not a lot of surprises on the guitar. The frets do have some wear, as I was telling you about before. There are no sharp fret edges. It's kind of a shame if that truss rod doesn't work. Outside of the typical dents and dings on a used guitar, it's not a bad guitar body. One interesting thing about it is that the bridge, you see that how this is much lighter on this side than that side. There's about a, I don't know, 2 mil piece of board that is missing right here. I don't know if they took that out to try to lower the action of these two strings, or if that was accidental. I don't really know how that happened. So we're going to have to fill that with something to bring that up to the height of this other piece so that my nut will sit in there flush. Right now it would be really high on this side. There wouldn't be anything holding it over here. So we'll have to, should we be able to fix the truss rod, we'll have to deal with that. We'll have to get some string pegs. And there's a picture of the hump I was telling you about. I've seen that on a lot of acoustic guitars, and I know that if this was something that we were going to play Carnegie Hall with, or we wanted it to be around in 10 years, we'd fix it. But guys, right now, my biggest concern is the truss rod not working. So I guess I'm going to do a little bit of research. I'm going to see if I can't talk to some folks. I've already seen a couple of things online. Everything from wrap a little bit of sandpaper on this to try to get a grip on it, to getting a gripper tool. But a lot of the videos I watched about the gripper tool are more about trying to get the nut off the tip of the truss rod. So I've never done any of this before, guys. So it's like any other day. Yeah, it's like any other day. Well, guys, you know, 3 things are true today and every day, baby. Number 1, I'm not a luthier. Number 2, I'm not a professional. Number 3, all this channel has ever been, my friends, is my journey with all things guitars and lots of life. Yeah, man, I don't know who Carlos is, but I think if we could get that truss rod working, I think we'd be all right. Let me go ahead and get a measurement on this neck for yards since he's going to ask me. And I love that he asked me, by the way. Wow, look at that. That's 19.8 yard. That's the thinnest acoustic neck I've seen, and that's the thinnest neck we've had in the shop, I think. We don't get a lot of 19 mil around the shop, man. Yeah, man. So on an acoustic, that's really unbelievable, man. Really unbelievable. And then up on the 12th fret, it gets chunky pretty quick. Let me get a measurement on the 12th. Well, I can't quite get to the 12th. I can tell you that on the 10th, she's at 25, 24.9 mil. So she starts out thin, man, but she gets chunky monkey up here, baby. Yeah, she does. All right, guys. Well, let me do a little bit of research, man, and I'll get back with you. Yeah, man. Stick around. Okay, my friends. Well, I reached out to a friend who is much more knowledgeable than I am about these things, and they did have some tips for me. So one thing that I've ascertained along the way is I do have a 5 mil Allen key here, and it fits kind of sort of in there. I don't think there's anything lodged in here at all. The suggestion, there were several suggestions. We're going to try them one at a time. Okay, guys, I've never broken a truss rod before, so this could be a first time for everything. Not that I want to, by any stretch of the imagination, do I want to break this, okay? I'm just saying, it could happen. Yeah, man. How's your day going, guys? What are y'all working on? Anybody got anything this gnarly happening? Man, I hope not. Alright, so the first suggestion was, and I hate to do this on my work table, I'm gonna have to really vacuum that good later, was to take steel wool and to wrap it around. You could also stuff it in there first. I think I'm going to try to do that. Let me get my scissors. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase the gripability of the Allen key. Okay? So I'm going to kind of shove this in there. It's first order of business. It's probably too much I'm trying to push in there. Yeah, let me get a different tool for this. So this is smaller. This is a 4 mil. I'm just going to try to push the steel wool into the cavity, as it were. Okay. Now, it's pretty... It's a pretty thin amount of steel wool. I don't know if it's going to have the same effect or not. Alright, so I've got a 5 mil. I'm just going to kind of try to wrap it around here the best I can. And I'm going to try to insert it. That's not going to work, is it? I've probably got too much, guys, that I'm working with. I haven't tried sandpaper yet. That was something I read online, but I trust my friend who I spoke to. So I'm going to put like a thin layer kind of in front of it. And then I'm going to... Sorry, guys, I have a cold. I'm trying to... Chris, I got your cold, baby. All right. And I don't want to... I don't think I want to tighten it first. I think I'd want to loosen it first would be my thought. Where's my apparatus, man? Where's my apparatus, guys? Oh, there it is. Headphones. I don't think I'm in there good enough. Uh-oh. Well, looky there. That truss rod is moving, guys. Wow. All right. Well, shoots. Now, does it come the other way? It will come back. Marshall, you're a genius, bro. You're a genius. Guys, I reached out to Setup by Marshall's. This was his tip to use steel wool. Marshall, it worked like a charm, baby. Now, I think what I need to do, guys, I'm not going to do any more turning of that until I get this guitar neck under string tension, okay? But right now, according to my apparatus, that's pretty straight, guys, right now. Okay, well, whew, man, that's a sigh of relief, guys. Well, that is a remarkable thing. Again, shout out to Marshall, Setup by Marshall. Man, if you guys haven't seen Marshall's channel, man, he works on all kind of guitars and plays in a band. He does great lives, plays great music, and cool cat, man. Check out Setup by Marshall, man. You won't be disappointed, baby. If you like good music and real folks, man, he seems to be real folks, and I know for sure he plays good music. I need to put this, I'm going to put this little bit of steel wool somewhere safe in that box so as to not jack up with any of my pickups that I may or may not be putting on here. I need to vacuum really good, and then we'll talk about what's next. Stand by. Okay, guys, while I'm cleaning up, just a little PSA. So this is a magnet, and that's how I got the steel wool off of the scissors. I'm going to use a vacuum cleaner on everything else. Just thought I'd show that to you. Alright, guys, well, this is where we are on the project. I need to go shopping. I need some 3x3 tuners for Carlos. And I need to also, this saddle nut slot is much wider and longer than any of the acoustic bone saddles that I've got laying around the shop. So, yeah, I need to take some measurements here. I need to get either a piece of bone long enough and wide enough for that hole. I don't know if they make those. Again, it has 2 holes on either side of where the nut would be. So it looks like it was a piece that fit in there and went in those screw holes. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. So I'll have to do some research. I'll take some measurements here, and if nothing else, we'll figure that out. And then I need to get some pegs. I had some cool pegs, but I put them on another project a while ago, and since this is for DJ, I want it to be as kind of special as I can get it. Strap buttons are not a big deal. I've got strap buttons. Got a whole little case of those over there. So we'll come back in the next vid, guys, and we'll tackle some fret work, and we'll order some parts, and when all that gets here, we'll see if we can't set old Carlos up here and get it ready for DJ. Guys, I can't thank you all enough for spending any time at all on the channel talking about guitars and life with me, man. Special shout out to the Jacks, our channel members, for all your love, support, edification, and constant encouragement. And super shout out to Marshall, who saved the day with the steel wool and the truss rod hole trick. Work like a champ, my friends. Man, community is a great thing. You guys are the best. As always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, man, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Rock on with your best selves, everybody. Catch you down the road.